Ooh, ayy, never gonna catch me lacking. I keep a clip of the script right on my hip, like it's a brand new fashion. You might just slip on a drip. Just a little tip, stay out of the way when I'm splashing. You could do it too if you imagine. Sipping holy water till my casket close. Getting baptized with some of my richest friends. I'm outside with my dogs, back outside with my twin and my kin again. Ooh.
So today we have Kristen James. It's so many different women out here, and I need to hear their story because we have to stick together.
Absolutely.
Yes, we stick it together.
Absolutely.
We have to. So she here.
And I am.
And this is going to be good. Today we're talking about worldly structure compared to godly structure. So this is going to be deep because I have to. So describe what you think worldly structure looks like.
Worldly structure is heavy influence from like social media and present culture demands.
Okay. Yeah.
I absolutely agree.
When that takes precedence.
Yeah, I feel the same way because when I put in the thing, the world molds you into who it wants you to be, but like God molds you into who He wants you to be. So it's like letting go of the world to come into God's structure, and that's so hard. It's so hard, but it's so necessary, and you have to endure a lot. So I feel like right now I'm at the enduring stage, and I feel like, do you feel like enduring ever stops?
No.
Yeah.
It's a journey. And the other day I was talking to God and I was thinking about some things because I have some things that I'm working on, and a lot of things that we do ministry wise, market world, is about branding, right? And preparing it and packaging it in a way that you create and build an audience. But in that, you still can't lose the essence of who you are authentically, and you don't know who you are authentically without realizing the purpose that you was originally created as.
Yes. Oh, that's good. So like for godly structure, you have to figure out why He made you, why he designed you the way that you are. And I feel like the world will hold the way that He designed you against you, so that you don't walk into what He called you to do. Because it's so many I thought was flaws, so many things I thought was flaws, but that was something that was a part of my calling. So it's like, it wasn't, this whole time it wasn't a flaw.
No.
And, and I feel like the evil one wants to steer you away from that. You obsess over that flaw, but you don't, what's the word? Embrace it.
Embrace. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't want you to embrace it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The thing is, with your flaws, there are things that you could work on with your flaw, right?
Right.
But you also don't want to lose a sense of that, because like you said, a lot of times that is that is the thing that's going to draw people to you, because they can relate to a thing.
Yes.
However, you do want to work from a place of, I've been delivered from this. I've mastered this. I'm familiar with this flaw. Like I've dated this flaw. Like I've been around it, but I no longer am in it.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the difference, right? Like, so, low self-esteem. I may identify what that looks like because I once dealt with it. And so instead of me hiding that may have been something that I dealt with, I embrace it. And that's why I always tell people, even when I tell my story, it's nothing you can say about my past or my present that's going to make me feel ashamed, because this is what God brought me out of.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So you can't make me feel bad about what I struggled with, right? Because now I'm helping other women who dealt with what I dealt with to come out. And so if I'm quiet about my testimony, then women stay burdened.
Yes. Yeah.
Ooh, that's big. Ooh, that's big. That is big. Let me tell you why that's big. Because the enemy wants us to stay in like these quiet places where we're not speaking, and where we are in like this shame. We have this shame and we're just hiding it so that he can continue to lie to us about who we are and this, that, and the third, and keep you stuck in mindsets that don't help you to discover who you are, and also just to shrink your voice. I feel like the enemy, his goal is to shrink us to the smallest. And in that process, like, he's deceiving us at the same time. So whatever you're believing is a lie.
Yes.
But when you start being vocal about those kinds of things, you're like, oh, I'm not the only one that deals with this. Like, the enemy wants us to feel like we're the only ones that deal with these things, but we're not. We're really not. Community is so important, and we do have to open up because we do have to understand, like, oh, how did you go about your situation dealing with this? Because if you don't, you'll always feel alone, like you're by yourself dealing with that thing, and even that is a lie.
What did you say about you? She always says something like, choose your hard.
Okay.
And so I just switched it and was like, choose your quiet place. Because God, it's like you can take the devil's route in his quiet place where he just feeds you lies, or you can go inside of God's quiet place. And God's quiet place fills you up.
Yeah.
So that's the difference between worldly structure and godly structure. The world would drain you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It would drain you of everything that you have, but God will fill you up.
And you got to remember, I mean, this is all biblical. Go to Genesis, and when the devil wants your identity. Like, you know how people be like, oh, the devil's so busy, he messing with my day. He don't want your day, he wants your identity.
Yeah.
And he wants your destiny, right? So when Eve was fooled by the serpent, he came for her identity. Why? He offered her something that she already was. He was confusing who she was. And so now she felt like she had to partake on something to become who she already was. She was already created in the vision of God. She already had that access. But the devil made her believe, or the serpent made her believe, that she wasn't there. So now she questioned herself. And so now in modern day, we are still questioning ourselves based off of the serpent. And a lot of times it's social media. Sometimes it's even church, right? It's different things that make us question who we really are.
And a part of him taking your identity, it is to push you to stop. It's to stop you from embarking on that path that God has for you, because there's been so many times where, like, he comes for my identity, but he also comes for my consistency. And with my consistency being stopped, then I'm no longer seeking. Like, I don't know where to go. Like, you're confused. Like, you're so distracted. And that's where I can't even say that's where I'm at right now. I told you earlier. Like, I'm in like a crossroads right now, and I'm choosing. I can see that I'm steering more towards God than, because I'm exhausted. It's sad that you have to be so exhausted from the world for you to fully give your all to God. But I'm happy that it did, because it just shows me, like, on that other side, it's just nothing there. I just felt empty. Like, it makes me sick. I'm like, this is not good. It's not healthy, and that's not who I am. And I with God, you don't have to perform.
Right.
But with the world, you do.
Yeah. And the world is never fulfilling, right?
No.
So that's why you go from, some people, they go from weed to alcohol to men to women, because it's always something else that you need more fulfilling of. You know, with God, he will fill you up. And that's why he'd say, find contentment in every season that you're in. Because if I'm content in my good and my bad days, I'm not crashing out, trying to allow, and I just told somebody yesterday in the church, like, stop allowing your circumstances to control you.
Right.
Because now you're signing up to be depressed. You're signing up to you're signing up for things that you don't have to do, because you're letting your circumstances control your mindset.
Yes. Yeah, and it's like, if you like I said, it's supposed to stop you. It's to stop you from embarking on that.
Yeah.
So, like, you never start. How can God give you the tools that you need on the way?
Exactly. And
Like, that just shows that you don't trust me.
Yeah.
Like, do you really trust? Like, do
He
you
wants
really
to distract you?
Yeah. Like, do you really trust him? That's where I'm at right now. That's where he got me at. Like, you trust me or not? I'm like, dang. But now that I went through what I went through, it's like, I do, because at this point, like, I can't keep trusting myself. And just in the world, like, it's like, I'm good.
Because God, in that place, like, in that quiet place that the Lord has, the place of stillness and peace, where he speaks to us and he teaches us and prunes us, all he's given us is truth. But the world wants to isolate us, and the enemy in that wants to deceive us and tell us lies. So whether that's, coming from somebody else, like you mentioned social media, like, we're looking and peeping into other people's lives. So now we're reflecting on what they say about us, which 9 times out of 10 is false.
Yeah.
Like, we have the voice of the world and the people in it, like you said, telling us who we are and what we should do and what we shouldn't do. And then we have God, who gives us the truth and gives us the way to life, you know. But when we want to, like, people please and all of this, I think this is why Paul the Apostle said, like, if I were he said, if I were still trying to please man, I wouldn't be a bondservant to Christ. Like I wouldn't be serving God, because why am I divided on who I'm trying to please and things like that or whatever? But you can't please the world. Like you said, it's never fulfilling.
Yeah.
It can never tell you who you are. And, it's just going to put you in a hole where it's hard to get out of. But,
and me, I struggled with loving the right way. Like, I'm like, as like a woman, you feel like you have to perform. But God showed me, like, God has been showing me, like, you don't have to perform with me. Like, you don't have to chase my love. Like, you don't have to do all that stuff. Like, I already love you. So like, and I feel like that's where that also, I'm in that crossroads as well. Like, are you going to keep performing out here to show somebody that you love them? Or are you going to come over here and let me show you how to be loved?
Yeah.
Because he does show you, like, He will, and he's been doing that. But I've been trying to ignore him and stuff. Like, I love him, So I believe you. I'm going over here. He's like, there's nothing over there.
Right.
Like, but it's good though. I love it. I love that I'm open. My thing is though, I was not always open to learning.
Okay.
He's now I feel like my heart is soft enough. But your heart has to be soft enough, I guess. Because my heart was so hard. Like, I'm gonna do it myself. Do it by myself. But like, that's what happens when like you're if you don't have like a father figure.
Yeah, it's a defense mechanism.
It is, yeah. So now I'm starting to see that now. So, I'll talk to my girl, I'll talk to my ChatGPT. Right here. I'll talk to her, I'm like, girl, I'm going through this, and she be getting me right. You already know what's going on.
Yeah.
It's up to you to stop.
Yeah. And I would say cherish that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of sisterhood is not real sisterhood, right? Like, sisterhood isn't pink and glitter. Sisterhood is ugly. Like, sisterhood is you being upset at something I said to help you, and then you come to your senses later. And you have to sometimes be okay saying the hard things because you don't want to see your sister self-destruct.
Right.
And it's so many times in sisterhood you see, and just like in life in general, sometimes people do love you, but they're afraid to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
And so your enemies will tell you the truth about you. Like, your enemies will tell you your flaws. Like, they have no problem with pointing out your stuff, and people will, that love you will be like, oh, no, because they don't want to hurt your feelings. Right. But you can never get right because they're not being honest with your things. But your accountability person will let you know, like, hey, you were wrong in that, so. Yeah, because that's hard to come past.
It is very hard. Shoot. I'm happy. My mom, I told my mom she had her for me. Like, I had just posted the other day, I asked God to clean me up inside, but now he's shining light on places inside of me that I forgot. No, places inside of me that I overlooked. Because I overlooked so many things within me, and he just showed me the crevices. Like, he that vacuum with the little when you attach it to it. Like, you missing that? No, we gonna clean all this up. We gonna do it right. But like, the problem is when we get to that dirty spot and we get lazy. And we don't want to clean that spot up. It's like, no, we getting this too. Didn't you tell me that you want to clean this up? All right, I'm gonna sit back until you're ready to clean that thing up.
That's because we dealt with it for so long.
Yes.
We've normalized it. We're numb to it. It doesn't even bother. You got people say, well, this is how I am, this is how I've been. Okay, well, it's time to change it. Like,
time.
But sometimes you think that you've suppressed it. And suppressing it's going to come back up.
Yes.
So
yes, it's an acid reflux.
Yeah,
acid reflux, baby. You know what I mean? Gotta stop.
It's gonna come back.
You got to eat no red sauces.
Yes,
put
please.
the more sauces down.
Please,
for real. No, I had chewing ice in the middle of the night and stuff. But I love what he's doing, and I feel like he's touching. It's like right now. Our pastor today was saying, like, he feels like there's a revival going on and stuff like that. But I feel like God is testing the mic with us. Like, do you hear me? If not, I'm gonna go to the next person. Test. You hear me?
Yeah.
And I feel like he's been testing that mic with me. I'll just be like, I ain't done yet. Soon. I ain't done yet. But I am finally done.
Okay.
Because I'm tired of hurting me.
Yeah. Ooh,
like, like,
I'm tired of hurting me.
Yeah, because at some point you can't blame the world.
Yeah.
It's like you need to check yourself.
Self-accountability.
Check yourself.
Yeah.
Because like,
It's
like,
me.
you can't keep blaming the world because at the end of the day, you know better.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
That's big.
Yeah.
That is so big. When you say, okay, I'm going to do the deep work that I need to do, I'm no longer going to skip that spot that needs to be clean. I'm going to do it. That is you taking responsibility for yourself. And we have to do that. Like, we have to do that.
Yeah, it's necessary.
It's necessary.
Yeah.
And it's a journey. It's a continued journey. And so never get comfortable. I always tell people, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Because it's always a journey. Like, even like in my personal life, I've gone through several different transitions within 3 years, right? Like from meeting my biological family to getting married, becoming an instant, mom of a teenager to now becoming a pastor. So it's always transition, and each role requires a different version of myself.
Yes.
But each role also mirrors certain flaws that I didn't know was there, and marriage is one of them.
Right.
Especially because I got married older, right? Like when all of my, 20s and early 30s single, and, got married older, and I was at a point where I was okay with not being married. And then, then I met my husband and God said something else. But that also taught me something else, because all of the self-work I thought that I was doing, it realized, oh, nope, you got some more work to do. Because what happens is you don't know you are healed and work through some things until you back in a relationship.
Yep, that is true.
You never lie.
You're right.
You
never
think
lie.
you got it when you by yourself. It's
Yes.
good to say certain stuff, but being in a relationship and definitely being in a marriage will remind you.
Yeah, and it's like those different levels, because being married is a different level.
Yes, it is.
And
Yes,
each
it is.
level takes a different part of you. That means that you mastered this one level for him to say that, oh yeah, all right, now it's time for you to be married, and you need to show up a different way in this level, because this is a whole different level.
Yeah.
I'm preparing you in this area, and from marriage, what's after that? What's he keeps elevating us, and and I feel like he won't elevate us until we master each level. And if you don't master the levels, it'll keep repeating itself.
It keep repeating.
Yeah, and it's
because
like
you don't know, because you don't have the tools.
Yeah.
So until you're like open to learn, until you're open to like get that corner and make that change, then from that experience you have the tools to then help with another experience that you have. Otherwise, you're gonna keep going through that thing.
And I think that's the difference between, back to the worldly godly culture. The worldly culture says I'm in control. Godly culture says I'm gonna be obedient, right? Because in the worldly culture, nobody is an arrogance of, like you said earlier, I'm gonna do what I want to do. That's the arrogance of non-submission. And here's the other thing, like, if you want to be a wife but you can't submit to God, how are you gonna submit to your husband?
You
like, it's preparing
checking me right now.
It's preparing you, right?
Yes.
And even in my area, I was like, you can't say you want to be in your soft girl era and you don't love soft.
Yeah. Oh, listen.
you don't like. You gotta love soft. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't have, because you don't know what this man is going through, and he's not your beating bag of pain. So you can't love him like, oh, you're a man, you're supposed to just take it, and want him to treat you soft, and then you treat him not. Not saying that he has to be a weak man, but still he has feelings. He got generational curses that he needs to break as well. So you have to be mindful of that, and I think that is the maturing of a woman when you can get to that point. But yeah, like the world says that I'm in control. I dominate. I do what I want to do. But godly culture, like, it's submission. It's obedience.
Yes. Wow.
And I feel like with me, I was submitting to the world and not God. So it's like, how can you expect this from God and you submitting to the wrong thing? Like, how do you expect change and there is no change? And
if you're not careful, who you submit to becomes your God.
No, that's true, because I just got out of that. I just got out of that. I'm talking about yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's like I had to check myself, because I'm like, you submitting to this. This is why you keep ending up in things like this, because you submitted to the wrong. How can you submit? If you submit to God, He'll give you the tools and the instruction.
Yeah.
Right. But when you're not submitted to God, you're going off of your own instruction, world instruction.
Wow.
And I tell my mentees all the time, I say, what you can't say no to controls you.
That's true. Dang.
boundaries.
What you cannot say no to It controls you. And people say all the time, like, you know, just like when they, like, let's just say they're smoking weed and they want to stop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can do it whenever I want. I'm not addicted. Okay, well, stop.
Mm-hmm. That's real. Because I
can't.
I used to indulge. I used to indulge in the marijuana. And then I just stopped cold turkey.
Mhm.
Because I'm like, you know, first of all, it wasn't me. I was in that because I submitted to the wrong person.
Mhm.
That's why I even started it.
Mhm.
But I knew it wasn't me. That's why it was so easy for me to stop.
Mhm.
So when I did stop, you know, it added to me.
Mhm.
Using it took away from me.
Mhm.
So you have to watch what takes away from you and
Yeah.
what adds from you.
Absolutely.
And that's where he's shining the light for me. Like, you know, this is taking away from you. Is it adding to you?
Right.
God's gonna add to me. I'm with that.
And soberly.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
right, without all that extra stuff. That's what I need.
Yes.
But what y'all like, what's going through my mind is you talk about like how the world wants us to be dominant, like how that the mindset of the world, you got to be dominant, not submissive, all of those things. And what you said, like that deception of, oh, this thing doesn't have control of me, when really it does.
really
You can't
does.
just stop. That's a power struggle. Like, but you're deceiving yourself, you're lying to yourself, saying that there's no power struggle.
Yeah.
And that's how the enemy keeps us in bondage, because
Absolutely.
because your actions and your beliefs and how you're moving doesn't really match what it is that you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, and what you're doing is actually leading you to death. It's keeping you in dynamics
Absolutely.
that are killing you.
Yeah.
Like whether that's your relationship with drugs or relationship in a toxic relationship or marriage or whatever, you lie to yourself and say, oh, there's no problem. Let me turn my blind eye. Let me not get that corner. But really, there's a power struggle there that wants to kill you.
Yes.
But God, when you what you said about marriage is so important, because when we start to see, I think this is where the mindset shift happens, because when you get into a marriage, you're right, like that mirror will be right up there in front of you, and you will start seeing those things. And if you don't address them and you turn that blind eye to it, not only are you inviting a power struggle into your marriage, because you're saying that you don't have a problem when really you do, not only will you create a chaotic household, but dang, I forget what was going with that. I always do that. But like, not only will you create a chaotic household, but it's just not going to end good for anybody there, because you're deceiving yourself at the end of the day.
I mean, you always gotta pay attention to your behavior, because your behavior explains what's in your heart, and your behavior explains where you are. So I can tell you right now, oh, I'm healed, and you be damaged, but my words don't dictate who I am. It's my behavior, it's my integrity. So I always tell people, like, you don't have to, like you said earlier, perform to make me believe who you are. You're going to show me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're going to show me what, because the thing about performing, eventually the act gets old and you'll forget the script.
That's good. That's
you know what I'm
so
saying?
good, right?
It's going to be a moment when you slip up.
No, for real.
And the real you going to show up. And that's who I'm dealing with.
Yes.
And even when I started dating my husband, which is so funny, I tell people all the time, where I got to in dating, I was like, I'm showing up my real self. So when we first hung out, I came outside with like hooping shorts on, no makeup, ponytail pulled back, because I want you to know what you saw on social media is not always. So if you're going to embrace this part of me, I'm not performing.
Yes.
I'm not dangling. I'm not dancing for a ring. You know, and I think a lot of women perform for a ring, and then they get the ring, and then the real them shows up, and now the marriage is ruined because he's into the actress, and not this version of you. So when you have to be in a confident, real place with yourself to say, this is who I am, and it's good enough that somebody is going to love me, my perfections, and all of that. This is who I bring to the table, and I'm a constant work, right? And that's when you realize how you can really make your purpose mate, because that person will respect that.
That's so good.
And that's real, because if you show up real, it's gonna be real.
Yeah.
And if you show up fake, it's gonna be fake, right?
Yeah.
And like, I feel like that's another part of submitting as well too. The fact that you showed up like that and he's still, you know, like pursued, that just shows like, all right, well, so that's a safe space for me, right? But I had a problem with dating guys that was like, that wanted me to perform. That they wanted me to, they know that you have a good heart. They know that, right? So they'll use that against you, right? So my thing was, God kept showing me like, no, like Denasia,
Mm-hmm.
nuh-uh, that's not it. That's not it. Like, come on now, I'm telling you, that ain't the right person to submit to. Like, and that's where I started. I said, you know what? Let me turn that volume up on his voice because it's too low.
Yeah, and I think because when it comes to guys, like, right, women outnumber men, so men are used to women performing for them. So when you don't fall in line to what they're used to, it's like that's how you know a man who's really ready for a wife. Because a man who's really ready for a wife, they will see the one who's not performing as a prize, and they will see the one that's performing as another person on their roster.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that maturity sometimes, and like I used to always pray back to worldly versus godly culture of even saying that I wanted someone that was husband material and what that was for me, So, and that's the difference. A lot of times people look at different things of when it comes to marriage and what they want. And sometimes even in church culture, they have this fantasy of what it should look like. And my prayer was directly for me, and it was, I wanted somebody who wanted to be a husband, who wanted to be a good husband, right?
Yes.
And they had that on prayer, and God allowed me to have that, right? But I think that if it was old Chrissy, I wouldn't have been ready for that.
Yes.
Old Chrissy I would have ruined it, right? Because I had trust issues and different things like that, and I made other people feel like that they was the cause of my trust issues, but my trust issues happened from being a child.
Right.
Things that I seen my parents go through.
Right.
Right. So I'm looking at them like, oh, you're doing this, and it's like, did they do that or did you create that in your head?
Yes. Yeah, and that takes maturity to look back to like what its name. My sister always says about zooming out and looking at the whole thing. So it takes maturity to look at that, and I feel like the fact that you looked at it, that's when he was like, you know what, I'm gonna give you a husband, girl. Because you're not overlooking. You're able to deal with, and God's not gonna give you something that you can't maintain, right? So it's like, you say you ready. Are you really?
Yeah. And I didn't make marriage and my husband and the want for marriage my God. Back to what I said. A lot of people draw close to God when they want something.
Right.
Right? Like when they want a man, and then they get it, and then they lose their relationship and identity with God.
Yes.
And so many people make idolatry out of it, like they want it so bad, and then everything. I got to a point also where I'm like, God, if you want me to have it, I'll have it, but allow me to be at peace with what is not in your will that I may want.
Right.
And that's a heavy one.
That's
a heavy prayer.
Yes, it is.
I be telling, I pray to God to heal. I said, God, can you please heal me while I'm in it? But now I'm like, oh no, that's a cop out. Because like you telling me to do this extra work because you want to stay in it, right? You gonna go all in or what?
Right.
Go all in, and that's just where I'm at. Where that's that crossroads. He's like, you gonna go all in with me, or are you gonna go all in here?
Yeah.
You gotta choose a side.
Can't be divided good.
You can't. You gotta choose a side, and that's where he has me. You don't even understand, woman. You free my heart today.
You could do it too if you imagine. Sipping holy water till my casket close. Okay.
So, tell me a little bit about yourself. It's how you jump into it.
Right. Let's see. I am currently a proud wife of Pastor Neil James. We pastor together, Grace City, Baltimore.
Ooh.
Over in the Dundalk area. We have a 15-year-old son. I have a production company called Chronicles of Curse, where I do theater productions, and I'm working on a new play. So that is exciting for me. And I am going back to get my master's. I was adopted at 2 weeks. And at 36, I met my biological family and found out I went from being the baby to being the oldest.
Okay.
And so that has been a great journey to meet my biological everybody, like my mom, my dad, my siblings, my grandmoms. But yeah, so that's a little.
Yeah. Do you feel like that? Meeting. Do you mind if I?
Yeah. Good.
Do you feel like that? Like added? Like is it? That's something that you always seek like you saw. Like,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So with my family, okay, so God does everything well, right? He does all things well.
Yes.
So I grew up in a very faith-based, strict apostolic family. I never felt like I was adopted because of the love that I got. Like most of my family, they either going to forget or they're like, and the joke probably wound up becoming like, y'all lying, I'm not adopted, right? Because the other thing is I look like my adopted dad, right?
wow.
So that's always been the thing. And although I grew up loved, never lacking, it's always something in you that wants to know where you came from, who's your tribe, you know, even when it came to sisterhood, like, do I have siblings, you know? And I have siblings with the family that God placed me with. I call them my soulmates, right? That the family that God placed me with. But I always wanted to know the other side, and just like going your life, you know, is that my mom, is that my sister, like anybody who could look similar remotely to me or whatever. And then I was 36, and I went to work, and I went to my lunch break, and I came back, and it was like a message like, hey, I have information on your biological mom. And the crazy part about that is that Monday, so that was Tuesday, that Monday, I went to go sit with my grandmother, who I said is the bishop, and she just was like, hey, do you think you're going to look for your biological family? So I was like, yes. And I was like, I want to meet my dad. I want to meet the mom. I want to meet whoever, you know, is willing. And a lot of times those stories don't have a pleasant ending, because you always have, sometimes someone passed away, or someone's not ready, or somebody doesn't even know that the baby existed, you know, so it was just a lot of those things. And so I was like, yeah, I'm at a good place now. I do want to find them. So that was Monday. Tuesday, I went to work, back to the story, and went to lunch, saw that message, and I'm like, is this spam? Right? Like, somebody on my phone, right? But then I was like, who would play like that, right? Like, who would, like, I know the big boys watching, but y'all, that's a different kind of vibe, right?
Yeah.
So I looked up the agency, and indeed it was the agency that my parents told me that I was adopted from. So I'm like, okay. So now I'm breathing, like, okay, I'm calling my best friend, who we've been friends for over 20 years. So she knows all of my story and everything. So I'm calling her. And then I had to call my husband. But my best friend, she just knows everything. So it was just an easy go-to. So I'm going through, and I call the guy back, and he's like, yeah, but you got to sign these papers first because the adoption was sealed. And I was like, well, I have the papers, because remember, I always was going to look for them. So I had already filled out the papers. I just never got them notarized. Okay. So they was at my desk at work, because I printed it out. And so I was like, I got the papers. I can email you right now. And he was like, well, you know what? You're over 21. Yes, unfortunately I am. So, so yes, I think you reminded me, right? Thank you, sir. He's like, do you mind if I just, you know, I can give you her number, and you can call. And I'm like, this is happening fast. Like, this is happening fast, because normally this kind of process takes years. And I have been pacing myself for a long process. But I remember a prayer that I had prayed, and I said, God, whatever you want me to have, make it easy for me, because I'm not going to chase it, right? I just don't have the will to chase certain things. So I said, make it easy for me. So all of this is unraveling fast. My best friend was like, don't call while you're at work, you're going to be emotional. And anybody knows me, you know, I'm not an emotional person at all. So I'm like, okay, like, girl, I'm going to call. So I called, they gave me the number, and I called my mom, and I'm like, hello? And she's like, she has a squeaky voice. She's like, hello? And I'm like, oh my goodness. So she was like, can you FaceTime me? And I'm like, my hair's not done. Like, my hair's not done. And so she was like, don't worry. So I FaceTimed her, and like I said, like, even though I grew up with tough people. So I'm just tough by nature. I grew up with mainly men. So I just, yeah. So I FaceTimed her, and I immediately broke down crying. Oh my God. And then I was like, you look like me. Like, yes. So in this moment of, you got to think, 30-something years of wondering who you look like, who you resemble, where are these other attributes coming from? And all of my life, I've been told that I look like my dad. And in an instant, I see, like, I look even more like, you know, like, so, yeah. And now, and I have a niece who everybody thinks it's my daughter because she looks identical to me.
Wow.
Yeah, so it has been a journey. So I've technically known my mom for 2 years.
That's beautiful.
But she has a beautiful relationship with my mom who raised me as well.
Yes.
So it's a blended situation. Like my mom and my dad has embraced my biological, parents, and one of my sisters joined my church, and so and so now my nieces are there, and the thing was, that month I was preaching on Go Get Your Family.
Wow. That's crazy.
And I was thinking about the family that I was raised with, but in my mind praying for the family I did not know, not knowing. And that's why you gotta be, I know this is supposed to be about me, but you gotta understand the power of your words.
Yes.
Cause if he will give you the power to be like him, he spoke and the world was.
Yes.
So when we speak, things come to life.
Yes.
Hallelujah.
And we were made in his what?
In his image.
Yeah.
That's so deep, because it's like, even though you were preaching about like your sermon, you were thinking on the surface like, this is about my family, but like it's like God answered her deepest desire for your actual family, your biological family. That's beautiful.
That is beautiful. I love that. You got me all tore up in the
That
chest.
is so beautiful.
Yeah, it's and how it was laid out for you, like you said, make it easy, and how you spoke that out. That's crazy. So you had this, so you had the sermon about Go Get Your Family. Then you prayed about make it easy, and he did.
Yes, he did.
But that's like how God, he just knows. It's certain prayers that it's not intentional, but it's in your heart. There's certain prayers we scared to pray.
Yes.
There's certain things that we are afraid to ask for.
Right.
Because we don't want to deal with the devastation of it not happening.
Wow.
Right.
And so it sits embedded in us, right? But because God has access to those places, glory to God. I'm getting filled up. Because he has access to your heart and to your deepness of the things that you never even told a soul. He knows how to reach and get them.
Yes. That just freed me. I mean, you don't even understand what that just did for me, because I do have some, and I never speak it. I never speak it because I didn't feel I was worthy of it.
Wow.
So that's good. That's good. That's I needed that. I needed that. I needed that. I love that. Your story is so. I feel like a lot of people want to need to hear that. Like, because we never know who else going through the same thing, or just scared to, seek, or just or ask, and it's hard. But then again, is it really hard? It's something hard when it comes to God. Like, He's gonna meet you there. You're not doing that lifting by yourself. And I feel like He's like, I want to assist you. You don't have to do that.
And he's been through the whole process, because even though it was like great joy in meeting them, it was processed afterwards. Because you got to think about it. My mom raised me from 2 weeks. From a mother and father perspective, that's all I've known. You know what I'm saying? And so then to meet a biological mother at 36 years, now I'm thinking, Mom, are you okay when I hang out with her? Like, I know we all together, right? But then, like, with the biological mom, like, are you okay when you see me with all that I've known? Like, so those have been different things. And then, like, things happen with the biological father, right? And so that became another angle of fight, like, right? Because it started great and then it went south, right? And I'm like, I'm too old to have daddy issues when I'm a daddy's girl, so I'm not going to allow you to give me something, because I've learned boundaries, right? I can, as much as we accept certain things, we can reject certain things. So I don't have to accept what you're trying to give me. I don't have to accept the weight of daddy's issues because you're toxic. No, I don't have to sip from that.
Oh, I just that right there, Kristen, is so amazing, because I just see the Lord even moving in that, like just his wisdom. And even like, since we're talking about worldly structure and godly structure, and like you said, the process of that God has in his structure, he gives us wisdom on how to go about when the world wants to present itself to tear us down. So like, if you were not who you were at that time in the Lord, and you were in the world, how would you have gone about that situation? So it's like God gave you something so precious, but also gave you the wisdom on how to deal with it, when the enemy wants to start doing things. But I just love that.
And I love how, he guided you there. He guided you through that process.
Mhm.
The thing is, we feel as though once we get there, that he won't help us maintain it.
Mhm.
Because I heard you say like, how is this going to lay out? I don't want my biological mom, and you know what I'm saying? It's like God's like, I trusted me there. Trust me throughout the whole thing. Throughout the whole thing, and it's like trusting God is. You have to trust him with all of it, not just some of it.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part.
Yeah.
Especially for me. But for me right now, let me stop lying. Because like I need to trust him with
language.
Yes, I need to trust him with starting for me at this point, because like he hasn't even begun what he wanted to do for me in my life, but I have to trust him with just even that.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so big. Like your story is just making me zoom out on my own
Yeah.
life and just thinking about certain things like when God, like that was a huge transition. So now I'm thinking about, the transitions in my life and journey in the Lord structure and how he's going to sustain us in those moments and things like that. But just transition as a whole, like there's so much that comes with it. And it's like God just drops them at the right time.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's like you said, it's always connected to something that he wants for us, something that's deeply a part of us that we might not even be asking for.
Yes.
But even in those transitions, it's like you learn how to ask because Lord, you brought me through this.
Yeah.
So now I know I can ask for the biggest things.
Right.
I can ask for the biggest things
Absolutely.
because you showed me, even when the biggest things happen in my life, I know how to respond to it because of your wisdom. So it's like what the little things you were once quiet about that were connected to your identity, now you can start asking for the Lord to reveal more and to do more.
Yeah.
So it's just like that's so freeing
Yeah,
because you can't see the unseen.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going to happen,
Yeah.
but you can rest assured knowing that God is the response to that situation.
Absolutely.
Whatever it looks like, it don't matter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is
Absolutely.
deep.
That is
Yeah.
deep.
And manage your blessings.
Yeah.
People mismanage their blessings.
Yes.
If you study all of the Old Testament, especially Exodus, complaining, they get blessed. Complaining, God answers. Complaining, God blesses. Complaining, no, mind you, they on their whole way to a promise that he already gave to them, already set up for them.
Right.
But in that, they continue to complain. They continue, and God would open up a door. They complain again. Not enough. Sometimes, like, my prayer is like, God, just allow me to appreciate what you give me.
Yes.
No matter how small or big. Like, of course my life is not exactly where I wanted to be, but I want to appreciate what you gave to me right now, because so many people misuse and mismanage their blessings.
Yes.
And then when they fall hard, then they're upset. But it's like, you didn't manage well.
Wow. Yeah, that's deep.
Nope. You stewarded your life.
Yeah.
You didn't steward your life right.
Yeah, because you're not appreciative. And sometimes when you don't work for a thing, you don't have a different type of value in you.
That's good. That's true.
When things are, just think about a spoiled child. If you keep giving them things over and over and over without them working for anything and without them knowing the value and the sacrifice of what you're giving them, they're going to be an entitled child. And when they go in that world, they're going to expect that certain thing. And it's like, okay, I didn't create a monster,
That's
right?
good.
I didn't create a whole monster here. But if they had to work for some of the things that they had, then their value and what they had was different. They don't mind ruining a pair of $200 shoes that you bought them because they didn't pay for it.
Right.
Yeah.
School shoes be all scuffed up.
2 days.
Right.
Like, yeah, so
Shoot.
manage well.
Yes.
Wow. That's so good.
You freed my heart. I'm so happy that, cause I was just scrolling through my social media and stuff, and I saw you. I don't know how your name popped up. I was like, let me see what's up with her. Because I asked God, cause I don't just randomly pick people. Like, someone pop up. I don't know how you got up on my page, but you were.
Okay.
So I'm like, let me ask her, and I'm happy I did, because it's so you can tell when you're aligned with God, what God's calling for you, because this message you didn't know. You didn't know.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yes, that's so good. And it's like, I hope this is not the last time we see each other. No, we have to get together. We have to get together, because this freed me.
It's deep. Real deep.
It was deep, but it was good though. We'll clap it up there.
Hey, we got that heavenly currency.
victory.